Have you ever wondered why some prayers remain unanswered, or why some desires seem eternally out of reach, no matter how often you speak of them? Could it be that words, no matter how eloquent, lack the true power to create? Tonight, I invite you to consider a truth that has always been present, yet often overlooked. Creation is not born of words, but of vibration, of feeling. Words, though powerful in their ability to articulate, are but shadows of the deeper forces within. The true creative power lies in the feeling behind the words. If you merely speak of wealth while feeling lack, or talk of love while vibrating with loneliness, your words will fall on barren soil. The subconscious, which is the gateway to creation, does not hear words. It feels the vibrations you embody. Your imagination, when married to feeling, is the creator of all that you see. It is not enough to describe what you desire. You must feel as though you already have it. Imagine the fulfillment of your wish, and more importantly, feel the joy, the satisfaction, the peace of its reality. This is the secret that has been hidden in plain sight, the law of assumption. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you align yourself with its vibration. The world outside, which appears so solid and fixed, is but a mirror reflecting the state of your inner being. Change your vibration, and the reflection must change. This is not a theory to be debated, but a truth to be experienced. There is a difference between saying, "I am wealthy," and feeling wealth as the present reality. One is an empty declaration. The other is a vibrational alignment. Words are empty without the life that feeling breathes into them. To create, you must bypass the intellect and move into the realm of feeling, for it is the feeling that impresses the subconscious. Consider this. If you were already the person you wish to be, how would you feel? What would your life look like? What would you hear, see, or touch? Now dwell in that state. Let your imagination construct the scene, but let your feelings give it life. Remain faithful to this state, not as a hope for tomorrow, but as a reality now. Creation is finished. All that you desire already exists in the infinite potential of the present moment. Your task is not to create from nothing, but to bring the unseen into visibility by assuming its feeling. To feel is to vibrate. To vibrate is to create. Faith is not the belief in something unseen, but the acceptance of it as real now. By living in the vibration of your wish fulfilled, you make the unseen seen. Trust this process, for it is the divine law by which all things come into being. Speak less of what you want and feel more of what you are, for it is not words, but vibrations that shape your destiny. Have you ever paused to consider the profound truth that everything you see, touch, and experience in this world is not separate from you, but is instead an extension of your imagination? The secret lies within you, waiting to be unearthed. This inner power, often dismissed or misunderstood, is the very essence of creation. All things in your life, whether you deem them good or bad, are born of your imagination, for it is the one and only reality. When you look upon your world, you're not observing something independent of yourself. Instead, you are witnessing the outpicturing of your inner state of being. Your imagination is not some fleeting thought or idle fantasy. It is the divine creative force that brings forth all things. You may think that the events of your life are the result of external causes or random chance, but this is an illusion. The world outside you is but a reflection, an echo of the inner world you carry. The mind often tricks us into believing that we are at the mercy of circumstances, but this is the great fallacy of humanity. Creation does not happen to you, it happens through you. You hold the key to this truth within your imagination. By understanding and directing this divine faculty, you can transform your life in ways that seem miraculous to the uninformed observer. Sometimes, close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself in a place of great peace. Imagine yourself surrounded by the people, experiences, and things that bring you joy. Notice how real this feels to you. Though your physical senses may tell you it is not happening, your inner experience declares otherwise. What you just felt was not mere daydreaming. It was the act of creation. This is how all things are made. The great secret is that imagination is not separate from reality. Imagination is reality. The moment you imagine something with feeling, it exists. Perhaps not yet visible to the outer senses, but it is as real as the chair you sit on or the air you breathe. This is not a theory to be debated, but a law to be lived. Creation is finished, and all that you could ever desire already exists. Your imagination is the means by which you call it forth from the infinite. You may ask, if imagination is the only reality, why do I not see the results of my desires? The answer lies in your state of consciousness. To create intentionally, you must dwell in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is not enough to think about your desire. You must think from your desire. This distinction is subtle yet vital. Thinking about something keeps it at a distance, while thinking from it brings it into being. When you imagine, you are planting seeds in the fertile soil of the subconscious mind. These seeds are not planted by idle thoughts or fleeting wishes. They are planted through sustained attention and feeling. Feeling is the life force of your imagination. Without it, your visions remain lifeless and barren. But when you imbue your imaginings with feeling, you set the wheels of creation in motion. To understand this is to grasp the truth of your creative power. You do not need to beg, plead, or strive for the things you desire. You only need to imagine them with conviction and feel their reality as if they are already yours. This is the law of consciousness. Whatever you imagine and feel to be true will externalize itself in your world. You may wonder how such a simple process can hold so much power. The answer lies in the nature of the subconscious mind. The subconscious does not reason or question. It simply receives impressions and brings them to fruition. Your imagination is the tool by which you impress the subconscious, and feeling is the means by which these impressions are sealed. Look around you. Everything you see was once imagined. The chair you sit on, the clothes you wear, the building you stand in. All of these began as an idea in someone's mind. But it was not the idea alone that brought them into existence. It was the sustained feeling of their reality that gave them life. The same is true for the events and circumstances of your life. They are the product of your inner states, whether consciously or unconsciously created. This is why it is imperative to take control of your imagination. If you do not direct it with purpose, it will create by default, and your life will reflect the chaos of undisciplined thoughts. But when you consciously use your imagination to dwell in the state of your desired end, you take the reins of creation into your own hands. And now, being really serious, our planet cannot coexist in the same space at the same time. Creation is not a future event. It is a present activity. Right now, you are imagining your future into being. The question is not whether you are creating, but what you are creating. Are you imagining from a place of fear, doubt, and limitation, or are you imagining from a place of love, abundance, and freedom? Your imagination is the divine spark within you. It is the power that shapes your destiny and molds your world. To master it is to master life itself. Begin now. Close your eyes and imagine the life you desire. Feel it as real. Know that as you do, you are not merely wishing for something, you are creating it. This is the truth that will set you free. Have you ever stopped to reflect on what truly moves the invisible forces of creation? It is not your words, not your actions, not even your most fervent desires. What moves the creative power of the universe is your feeling. Feeling is the secret, the sacred force that transforms imagination into reality. Without it, your desires are mere shadows, lacking the vitality to manifest. Think of this. If you were already the person you wish to be, how would you feel? This simple question holds the key to all creation. To feel is to believe, and to believe is to have. Feeling is the bridge that connects the invisible world of imagination with the visible world of form. It is the language of the subconscious mind, the aspect of yourself that shapes every experience in your life. The subconscious does not hear your words or analyze your intentions. It feels your state of being and brings it into expression. Imagine a seed planted in fertile soil. The seed does not grow because you wish it to or because you tell it to. It grows because it receives the nourishment it needs, water, sunlight, and nutrients from the earth. Similarly, your imagination is the seed, and your feeling is the nourishment that brings it to life. Without feeling, your imagined desires remain dormant, lifeless. But when you infuse them with the feeling of their reality, you set the creative process in motion. There is no power outside of you that determines your fate. You are the operant power, and your feeling state is the engine that drives all creation. This is why it is so essential to live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. To dwell in the feeling of lack or fear is to create more lack and fear. But to feel as though your desire is already realized is to align yourself with its fulfillment. Honor your desire of this moment. Imagine your creation. Bring it to fruition. Feel unlimited. You are not waiting for your desire to come to you. You are bringing it to yourself by embodying its essence now. Your feeling is not an abstract concept. It is a living reality. To feel is to know. When you feel something deeply, you accept it as true. You may not see it with your physical eyes, but your feeling declares its reality. And because feeling impresses the subconscious, it is only a matter of time before what you feel inwardly becomes your external experience. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to be the person I wish to be? What emotions would I experience if my dream were already a fact? These questions are not idle musings. They are the doorway to creation. The moment you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you begin to rewrite the script of your life. This is not mere positive thinking or wishful dreaming. It is the deliberate and conscious act of creation. Do not be deceived by appearances. The world you see is not fixed or permanent. It is a mirror reflecting your inner state. If you wish to change the reflection, you must first change the cause, your feeling. The outer world is nothing more than an echo of your inner vibration. To transform your life, you must transform your inner state, and the most direct way to do this is through feeling. This is why it is said that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is not blind belief. It is the deep, abiding feeling that your desire is already yours. When you feel the reality of your desire, you are exercising faith in its fulfillment. You are affirming that what you imagine is real, even if your senses deny it. The greatest mistake you can make is to wait for the evidence of your desire before feeling its reality. This is to put the cart before the horse. The evidence will not come until you feel the reality first. Creation begins and ends within you. You must feel the end as though it is already accomplished, and then let that feeling move you. This is not a difficult practice, though it requires discipline and persistence. The mind is accustomed to reacting to the world, to taking its cues from external circumstances. But to create intentionally, you must reverse this process. You must act as though the world within you is the only reality, and the outer world will conform to it. Feeling is the secret because it bypasses the intellect and speaks directly to the subconscious. You may convince yourself of many things on a rational level, but if you do not feel them to be true, they will not take root. This is why affirmations or spoken declarations often fail. Without the feeling to back them up, they are empty words, incapable of influencing the creative process. Think of the times in your life when you felt something with certainty, whether it was joy, fear, or expectation. Did not your outer world shift to reflect that inner state? The principle is universal and works whether you are aware of it or not. Feeling is the one and only substance from which your reality is formed. Now consider this moment. What are you feeling right now? Are you dwelling in the feeling of your fulfilled desire? Or are you consumed by doubt, worry, or longing? This moment is the only time you have to create. The past is but a memory, and the future is a projection of your current state. By changing how you feel now, you change the trajectory of your life. Feel this practice today. Close your eyes and imagine the scene that implies the fulfillment of your wish. Feel it as real, as though it is happening now. Dwell in that feeling until it becomes natural to you. And as you do, know that you are impressing the subconscious with the reality of your desire. In time, what you feel within will be revealed without, for this is the law of creation. Feel it, and it is done. When you speak, do you believe that your words alone have the power to create? Many do. They repeat affirmations, recite prayers, and speak endlessly about their desires, thinking that the act of speaking is enough to bring their dreams to life. Yet they find themselves disheartened when their words seem to go unanswered. This is because words without the corresponding vibration of feeling hold no creative power. For the reality rejects this. Until you find your feet in the ground, you finally realize what was always present. The true essence of creation lies not in what you say, but in the vibration you embody. The vibration of your being is the unseen force that molds your reality. It is not your outer actions or the words you utter, but the state of consciousness you inhabit that determines what manifests in your life. Every vibration you emit is a message sent to the universe, and it is this message, not the words you speak, that is reflected back to you. The world does not respond to what you say you want. It responds to who you are. Imagine for a moment that you are in a conversation with someone, telling them how happy and successful you are, but inside you feel anxious, doubtful, or defeated. Your words may express happiness, but your vibration contradicts them. It is the vibration, the feeling beneath the surface, that is heard and answered. This is why so many affirmations fall flat. They lack the resonance of truth because they are spoken from a state that denies their reality. To create intentionally, you must shift your focus from words to vibration. Words are merely symbols. They can guide your attention, but they cannot create unless they are infused with feeling. Feeling is the language of creation, the force that moves mountains and shapes your world. It is the invisible thread that connects your inner state with your external reality. Consider the moments in your life when you felt something deeply. Perhaps it was a moment of pure joy, a sense of accomplishment, or even an overwhelming fear. Notice how quickly your world seemed to respond to that feeling. Opportunities appeared, relationships shifted, or events unfolded in alignment with your inner state. This is the power of vibration in action. Your world is a mirror, faithfully reflecting the vibration you hold. This is why it is said that as you believe, so shall it be done unto you. Belief is not a matter of intellectual agreement. It is a vibrational state of certainty. To believe is to feel the reality of your desire so deeply that it becomes a part of you. You do not need to convince anyone else of its truth. Your vibration speaks louder than any words ever could. When you focus on vibration rather than words, you step into the true creative process. You begin to understand that your outer world is not something to be controlled or manipulated. It is something to be aligned with. The conditions and circumstances of your life are not random. They are precise reflections of the vibration you maintain. To change your world, you must first change your vibration. How do you do this? By living in the end, by assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is not a superficial exercise, nor is it about pretending. It is about embodying the state of being that matches your desire. If you wish to experience abundance, you must feel abundant now. If you desire love, you must vibrate with the essence of love. The outer world has no choice but to conform to the vibration you hold. Words can guide you toward the state you wish to embody, but they are not the source of creation. They are tools, like signposts pointing you toward a destination. If you read a sign that says success, the sign itself does not bring you success. It simply points the way. In the same manner, your affirmations and declarations can guide your attention, but it is the feeling, the vibration, that brings the destination into view. This is why it is said that creation begins and ends within you. The world outside is not the cause, it is the effect. To spend your energy trying to manipulate the effect is to miss the point entirely. True power lies in turning inward, in cultivating the vibration that aligns with your desire. When you do this, you no longer need to force or struggle. The outer world will align itself effortlessly with the vibration you hold. Think of your vibration as a tuning fork. When you strike a tuning fork, it emits a specific frequency, and other objects that resonate with that frequency begin to vibrate in harmony. The same principle applies to your life. When you vibrate with the feeling of your wish fulfilled, everything that matches that vibration is drawn to you. The outer world cannot resist the inner resonance. This is why you must be vigilant about the vibration you emit. Pay attention not to your words, but to the feeling behind them. Are you speaking of abundance while feeling lack? Are you declaring love while vibrating with loneliness? Your vibration cannot be fooled. It is the true measure of your state of being, and it is the signal that the universe responds to. The beauty of this truth is its simplicity. You do not need to force change in the outer world. You do not need to speak endlessly about what you desire. All you need to do is align your vibration with your desire and trust the process. The creative power of the universe is always working, always responding to the vibration you hold. Let go of the need to convince others or even yourself with words. Instead, focus on embodying the vibration of your desire. Feel it as real, dwell in its essence, and know that it is done. In this state, you are no longer a seeker, but a creator. Your vibration becomes the cause, and the world around you becomes the effect. This is the law, and it works unfailingly for all who understand and apply it. What does it mean to think from the end? It is a question worth pondering, for in its answer lies the secret to transforming your life. Thinking from the end is not merely about imagining a future outcome. It is about inhabiting it fully in the here and now. To think from the end is to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, to live as though your desire has already materialized. It is the art of claiming that which you seek by becoming it in consciousness. Consider this: if your desire were already realized, how would you see the world? How would the world see you? These questions are not abstract. They are the foundation of creation. To think from the end is to align yourself so completely with the state of your fulfilled desire that it becomes the only reality you know. It is to act, think, and feel as though your wish has already been granted and will give. When you think of your desire, you place it at a distance. You see it as separate from yourself, something to be attained in the future. But when you think from your desire, you bring it into the present moment. You collapse the gap between where you are and where you wish to be. This is not wishful thinking or idle daydreaming. It is a deliberate act of creation, grounded in the understanding that consciousness is the only reality. The world you see around you is not fixed or immutable. It is a reflection, a projection of your inner state. When you think from the end, you shift your inner state to match the reality you wish to experience. The outer world has no choice but to conform to this new state of consciousness, for it is bound by the law of reflection. The change must first occur within you, and the world will follow. This is why it is said that creation is finished. Everything you could ever desire already exists in the infinite potential of consciousness. You are not creating something new. You are simply aligning yourself with a specific state of being. To think from the end is to claim that which is already yours in the realm of imagination. It is to bring the invisible into visibility by living in the feeling of the fulfilled desire. Imagine for a moment that you have already achieved your greatest dream. Close your eyes and see yourself as the person you wish to be. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the gratitude of having attained your goal. Notice how your posture changes, how your thoughts shift, how the world looks through the eyes of this fulfilled version of yourself. This is the essence of thinking from the end. You are not waiting for the evidence to appear. You are creating it by embodying the state of your desire. The subconscious mind, which governs the manifestations of your life, does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It accepts as true whatever you impress upon it with feeling and belief. When you think from the end, you impress upon the subconscious the reality of your desire. This impression becomes the blueprint from which your outer world is shaped. Many people falter because they allow the evidence of their senses to dictate their beliefs. They look at their current circumstances and say, "This is my reality." But the senses are not the source of truth. They are the result of previous states of consciousness. To rely on the senses is to perpetuate the past. To think from the end is to break free from this cycle and create a new reality from within. You do not need to know how your desire will come to pass. The how is not your concern. Your only task is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and trust that the means will be provided. The creative power of the universe is infinite and knows no obstacles. It will move heaven and earth to bring about that which you claim as true in consciousness. Doubt and fear have no place in this process. They are the enemies of creation, for they pull you out of the state of the wish fulfilled. To think from the end requires unwavering faith, a steadfast commitment to the reality of your desire. When doubt arises, remind yourself that the outer world is but a shadow of your inner state. Change the inner, and the outer must follow. Search yourself in the inner state, and the outer must follow. To live in the end is not to deny your current circumstances, but to rise above them. It is to see beyond appearances and claim the truth of your imagination. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are not ignoring the facts of your life. You are transcending them. You are choosing to dwell in a higher reality, one that reflects your true desires. This practice requires discipline and persistence. The mind is often resistant to change, clinging to familiar patterns and beliefs. But as you continue to think from the end, these old patterns will dissolve, replaced by the new state you have assumed. The more you dwell in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the more natural it will become, until it is the dominant vibration of your being. Your imagination is the workshop of creation, and thinking from the end is the tool that shapes your desires into form. Do not underestimate the power of this simple practice. By assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you align yourself with the infinite potential of consciousness and bring forth the reality you desire. It is not a matter of effort or struggle, but of alignment and faith. Begin now. Close your eyes and see the world as it would appear if your wish were already fulfilled. Feel it, believe it, live it. This is the art of thinking from the end, and it is the key to unlocking the limitless power within you. The world will respond to the reality you hold in consciousness, for it can do no other. Live in the end, and know that your desire is already yours. The act of imagining is not a passive experience. It is the most powerful and deliberate act of creation. When you imagine something, you are not merely picturing a scene or an event. You are entering into a reality, crafting it with the substance of your consciousness. To imagine is to create, for the world you see is nothing but the outpicturing of your imagination. Everything you experience, every person, every event, every condition, is a reflection of what you have imagined, whether consciously or unconsciously. You may wonder why imagining holds such power. The answer lies in the nature of consciousness itself. Consciousness is the one and only reality, the source of all that exists. Everything begins and ends in consciousness, and imagination is the tool by which consciousness expresses itself. When you imagine, you are not merely observing. You are shaping, molding, and forming the very fabric of reality. Consider the simplicity of this truth. What you imagine with conviction and feeling becomes your experience. The subconscious mind, which governs the manifestation of your world, does not argue, question, or doubt. It accepts as true whatever is impressed upon it through imagination. When you imagine a scene and feel it to be real, you impress the subconscious with that reality. This impression is the seed from which your external world grows. The key to effective imagination lies in the intensity of your focus and the depth of your feeling. It is not enough to simply see a mental picture. You must feel as though you are living in the scene you have imagined. Feeling is the secret, the catalyst that transforms imagination into reality. When you imagine with feeling, you awaken the creative power within you and set the wheels of manifestation in motion. Just as you might focus on the rain with meditation, you might also focus on the rain that trickles down your glasses. Imagine for a moment the life you desire. See it clearly in your mind's eye. What do you see? Who are you in this imagined world? How do you feel? The details of your imagination matter, but even more important is the emotion you associate with it. When you imagine with feeling, you claim that reality as your own. You are not wishing or hoping for it to come to pass. You are declaring that it is already so. This is why it is said that imagination is the way to the infinite. Through imagination, you transcend the limitations of the physical world and enter a realm of limitless possibilities. There are no obstacles in imagination, no barriers or constraints. In this infinite space, you are free to create, to dream, to bring forth anything you desire. When you align your imagination with the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are operating from the infinite, and the finite world must yield to your vision. And one of the most remarkable aspects of imagination is that it works unfailingly, whether you are aware of it or not. Every moment of your life, you are imagining something. Your current circumstances are the result of past imaginings, whether deliberate or unconscious. This is why it is so essential to take control of your imagination. If you do not direct it consciously, it will be directed by the beliefs, fears, and doubts that dominate your mind. To master the art of imagination, you must discipline your mind. You must learn to focus your attention on the reality you wish to create and hold it there with unwavering faith. Distraction is the enemy of creation. When your mind wanders, it scatters the creative force of imagination. But when you concentrate your attention on a single vision and infuse it with feeling, you harness the full power of consciousness. The practice of imagining is not confined to specific times or places. You can engage in this act of creation at any moment, wherever you are. Close your eyes and enter the scene of your desire. See it, feel it, live it. Make it as vivid and real as possible. When you open your eyes, carry the feeling of that imagined reality with you. Let it permeate your thoughts, your actions, and your interactions. The more you dwell in the feeling of your fulfilled desire, the more natural it becomes, until it is the dominant vibration of your being. You may wonder how long it takes for your imagination to become your reality. The answer lies not in time, but in your conviction. The moment you imagine something with absolute certainty and feeling, the process of manifestation begins. Time is merely a delay between the inner creation and its outer expression. Trust the process and know that your imagined reality is already yours in consciousness. Doubt is the greatest obstacle to effective imagination. When you doubt, you disrupt the creative process and undermine your vision. To overcome doubt, remind yourself of the law, as within, so without. The outer world is a reflection of your inner state. If you wish to see a change in your circumstances, you must first change your imagination. The beauty of this practice lies in its simplicity. You do not need special tools, resources, or conditions to imagine. You already possess everything you need, for imagination is the natural function of consciousness. It is your birthright, your divine gift, and your greatest power. Through imagination, you can rise above any limitation, overcome any obstacle, and create the life you desire. Begin now. Take a moment to close your eyes and enter the world of your imagination. See the scene that represents your fulfilled desire. Feel it as real, as though it is happening now. Let the feeling of your wish fulfilled fill your heart and mind. When you return to the world of senses, carry that feeling with you. Let it guide your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Through imagination, you hold the key to the infinite. Use it wisely and know that the life you desire is already within your reach. By imagining your wish fulfilled and feeling it as real, you align yourself with the creative power of the universe and bring forth a reality that reflects the beauty, abundance, and joy of your inner vision. The act of living in the end is not a vague aspiration. It is the most profound and deliberate approach to transforming your life. To live in the end is to dwell in the state of consciousness that aligns with the fulfillment of your desire. It is not merely to think about your goal, but to inhabit it fully, to make it the dominant reality of your inner world. This is the key to manifestation, for what you embody in consciousness becomes the world you experience. Consider the life you wish to lead. Perhaps it is a life of abundance, love, success, or health. Whatever your desire may be, ask yourself this: if it were already true, how would you feel? What thoughts would occupy your mind? What actions would flow naturally from this state of being? These questions are not idle musings. They are the essence of creation. To live in the end is to answer these questions with the full conviction of feeling, and to make that state of being your dwelling place. Living in the end requires a shift in focus from the external to the internal. The outer world is not the cause but the effect, a shadow cast by the light of your inner state. If you attempt to change the shadow without altering the light, you will find yourself in a constant struggle. But when you align your inner state with the reality you wish to experience, the outer world must conform. This is the law of consciousness, unyielding and universal. To live in the end is to claim your desire as already fulfilled. It is not to wait for evidence or validation from the senses. The senses are bound to reflect the state of consciousness you inhabit, but they are not the source of creation. The source lies within you, in the imagination and the feeling of the wish fulfilled. When you dwell in this state, you bring the unseen into visibility and the intangible into form. Imagine for a moment that you are already the person you wish to be. Close your eyes and see yourself as this individual. Notice how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you interact with the world. Feel the satisfaction, the confidence, the joy of being this person. As you do so, you are not engaging in mere fantasy. You are aligning yourself with the reality you seek. This alignment is the act of living in the end. Doubt and fear may arise, for the senses often contradict the reality you wish to create. But these emotions are only obstacles if you give them power. When you live in the end, you are not swayed by appearances. You know that the outer world is the reflection of past states of consciousness, and that it has no power to dictate your present or future. Your focus remains steadfast on the feeling of the wish fulfilled, for this feeling is a creative force that shapes your reality. Living in the end is not a passive state. It is an active and deliberate practice. It requires discipline to maintain your focus and faith to trust in the unseen. You may find yourself tempted to return to old patterns of thought, to dwell on lack or limitation. But each time you redirect your attention to the state of your fulfilled desire, you strengthen your alignment with that reality. Over time, this state becomes natural, the dominant vibration of your being. You do not need to concern yourself with how your desire will come to pass. The how is not your responsibility. It is the work of the creative power within you. Your task is simply to live in the end, to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and trust in the process. The means will unfold in ways you cannot predict, often through a series of seemingly unrelated events that lead you effortlessly to your goal. When you live in the end, you transcend the limitations of the physical world. You are no longer bound by circumstances or conditions, for you know that these are but reflections of past states of consciousness. You are free to create anew, to imagine and embody the reality you desire. This freedom is your birthright, the natural expression of your creative power. The beauty of living in the end is its simplicity. It does not require elaborate rituals, special tools, or external validation. All it asks is that you turn inward, that you align your consciousness with the reality you wish to experience. In this alignment, you find the peace, joy, and fulfillment that you seek. For you are no longer a seeker, but a creator. Each moment offers you the opportunity to live in the end. As you go about your day, let the feeling of your fulfilled desire guide your thoughts and actions. When doubt arises, remind yourself of the truth that the outer world is but a shadow of your inner state. Return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled and let it become the foundation of your reality. Through this practice, you will come to know the power of consciousness and the truth of creation. You will see that your life is not shaped by chance or circumstance, but by the states of being you choose to inhabit. When you live in the end, you align yourself with the infinite potential of consciousness and bring forth a reality that reflects the beauty and abundance of your inner vision. Begin now. Close your eyes and see the world as it would appear if your wish were already fulfilled. Feel it, believe it, live it. Let this feeling become your dwelling place, the foundation upon which you build your life. In this state, you are no longer bound by the limitations of the senses or the constraints of the physical world. You are free to create, to imagine, to live in the end. This is the art of creation, the key to unlocking the limitless power within you. The power of persistence in imagining lies in its ability to transform the unseen into the seen, the intangible into the tangible. To persist in your assumption of the wish fulfilled is to remain unwavering in your faith, no matter what the outer world seems to reflect. This persistence is not about force or struggle, but about holding steadfast to the reality you have claimed in consciousness. It is the act of remaining loyal to your vision, knowing that the external must ultimately conform to the internal. It ultimately becomes the external conforming. To understand the significance of persistence, consider the nature of creation itself. All things begin as formless potential within consciousness. They are brought into being through sustained attention and feeling. When you imagine a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire and persist in that state, you impress it upon the subconscious mind. The subconscious, being the creative power within you, accepts this impression and brings it into manifestation. Yet, many falter because they allow the evidence of their senses to dictate their beliefs. They observe the world as it is and conclude that their desires are far from reach. But to persist in imagining is to rise above appearances, to see beyond the transient and claim the eternal. The senses may tell you one story, but imagination tells another. To persist is to choose the story of your imagination, to dwell in the reality of your wish fulfilled until it becomes the dominant experience of your life. Persistence requires faith, not in some external force, but in the law of consciousness itself. This law is unchanging and unwavering. As you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and persist in that assumption, you set the creative power of the universe into motion. Doubt, fear, and hesitation have no place in this process, for they disrupt the impression you seek to make upon the subconscious. When you persist, you silence these doubts, anchoring yourself firmly in the conviction that your desire is already realized. Think of persistence as the act of watering a seed. When you plant a seed in fertile soil, you do not see immediate results. Days, weeks, or even months may pass before the first sprout appears. But you do not dig up the seed in impatience or despair. Instead, you water it, nurture it, and trust that it will grow. So it is with your desires. When you persist in imagining, you are watering the seed of your wish, nurturing it with the feeling of fulfillment until it blossoms into reality. Persistence is not about forcing yourself to imagine constantly, but about returning to the state of the wish fulfilled whenever your attention wavers. Life may present challenges and distractions, but these are opportunities to strengthen your practice. Each time you notice your thoughts drifting toward doubt or fear, gently bring them back to your vision. Reimagine the scene, feel the reality of your desire, and reaffirm your faith in its fulfillment. This process is not about denial or repression of your current circumstances. It is about transcending them. To persist in imagining is to acknowledge the present while choosing to dwell in the reality of your desire. It is to recognize that the outer world is a reflection of past states of consciousness, and that it holds no power over the present or future. By persisting in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you rewrite the script of your life, creating a new reality from within. The key to persistence is consistency. It is not enough to imagine your desire once and then forget it. The impression upon the subconscious must be repeated until it takes root. This repetition is not about effort, but about immersion. When you imagine your wish fulfilled, you must feel it as real, vivid, and immediate. The more you dwell in this feeling, the more natural it becomes, until it feels as though it has always been true. You may encounter moments when doubt seems overwhelming, when the outer world appears to contradict your vision. In these moments, remember that persistence is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. The manifestation of your desire may not come in the way or the time you expect, but it will come. The law cannot fail, for it is rooted in the very nature of consciousness. Your task is simply to remain loyal to your vision, trusting in its inevitability. Persistence is not a burden, it is a joy. When you truly embrace the feeling of your wish fulfilled, it becomes a source of inspiration and delight. Each moment spent in this state is a step closer to its manifestation. You are not waiting for something to happen. You are living in the reality of your desire, experiencing its fulfillment in consciousness even before it appears in the physical world. The beauty of persistence is that it transforms you as much as it transforms your circumstances. As you persist in imagining, you begin to embody the qualities and characteristics of the person you wish to become. You think, feel, and act in alignment with your desired reality. This alignment creates a magnetic force that draws your desire to you effortlessly and naturally. To persist is to trust in the creative power within you, to know that your imagination is the source of all creation. It is to recognize that you are not a passive observer of life, but an active participant, shaping your reality through the states of consciousness you choose to inhabit. When you persist in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you align yourself with the infinite potential of consciousness, bringing forth a reality that reflects the beauty, abundance, and joy of your inner vision. Begin now. Close your eyes and imagine the life you desire. See it clearly, feel it deeply, and know that it is already yours. As you persist in this state, you will find that the outer world begins to shift, conforming to the reality you have claimed. This is the power of persistence in imagining, the key to unlocking the limitless potential within you. To understand the true power of imagination, one must grasp the relationship between thought, feeling, and manifestation. Every thought that enters your mind is accompanied by an emotional charge that either aligns you with the reality you wish to experience or keeps you anchored in the reality you already have. Your thoughts, when coupled with strong emotions, impress themselves upon your subconscious mind, which in turn shapes your external world. The law of attraction, which governs the process of creation, operates not on thoughts alone, but on the feelings that accompany them. Thought without feeling is inert. It lacks the power to create. But thought infused with emotion is a dynamic force, capable of shaping the course of your life. The importance of feeling cannot be overstated. Feeling is the bridge between the conscious mind, where thoughts arise, and the subconscious mind, which is the seat of creation. When you entertain a thought that implies the fulfillment of a desire, It must be felt as real in order for it to take root in the subconscious. This is why simply thinking about your goals is not enough. You must feel them as already fulfilled. Feeling is not enough. You must feel them as already fulfilled. This feeling is what gives life to your thoughts and transforms them into a tangible reality. Take a moment to consider your current state of being. What emotions do you carry with you throughout the day? Are they aligned with your desires, or are they reflections of past experiences, doubts, or fears? Your emotions are the telltale signs of the beliefs you hold in your subconscious mind. If your emotions are not in alignment with the reality you wish to create, then the thoughts you entertain will only reinforce the old patterns of thought that have already manifested in your life. The driving pattern of thought that have already manifested in your life. To change your outer world, you must first change the emotional state in which you live. The key to changing your emotional state lies in imagination. Imagination is the faculty that allows you to experience an event or condition before it has manifested in the physical world. When you imagine your desire is already fulfilled and feel the joy, peace, or satisfaction that accompanies its fulfillment, you impress this emotional experience upon the subconscious. This emotional impression is what drives the creative process. To imagine effectively, you must create a mental scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. This scene should be specific, vivid, and charged with the appropriate emotion. For example, if your desire is financial abundance, imagine yourself in a situation where you are freely spending money, feeling a sense of freedom and security. The scene itself is not as important as the emotion it evokes. As you engage with this scene, allow yourself to feel the emotions that would naturally arise from such a situation. You might feel gratitude, relief, or joy. Whatever the emotion, it must be real to you in that moment. The stronger and more vivid the emotion, the more powerful the impression you make upon the subconscious. The reason this emotional engagement is so crucial is because the subconscious mind does not distinguish between a vivid mental image and an actual physical experience. When you imagine a scene with strong emotion, your subconscious accepts it as if it were already happening. This is why the law of attraction is so powerful. Your emotional state is the key that unlocks the door to manifestation. If you can feel as though your desire is already fulfilled, the subconscious will begin to rearrange the conditions of your life to bring that desire into physical reality. But there is another layer to this process: the cultivation of a persistent state of feeling. It is not enough to imagine once and hope for a result. Persistence is essential in bringing about change. Each time you imagine your desire, you are strengthening the emotional charge that you are impressing upon the subconscious. The more frequently you visit the scene of your fulfilled desire, the more natural and real it becomes. Your emotions begin to shift from a state of lack to a state of abundance. And this shift in feeling is what eventually alters your circumstances. The minute anything starts to go wrong in your life, you have to make a determination. It is important to note that persistence in imagination does not mean obsessing over your desires or forcing a certain outcome. Rather, it is about cultivating the feeling of your wish fulfilled and allowing it to become the dominant emotion of your life. Over time, this emotion will align you with the frequency of your desire, and your outer world will begin to reflect the new state of being you have assumed. Success is a process of vanishing the feeling of failure, and your outer world will begin to reflect the new state of being you have assumed. One of the most profound aspects of this process is the recognition that the world around you is a mirror of your internal state. Your environment, your relationships, and your experiences all reflect the thoughts and feelings that you hold within. When you change your emotional state, you change the reflection in the mirror. This is why it is so crucial to align your emotions with your desired reality. If you feel joy, peace, and fulfillment, the world must reflect these emotions back to you. Your energy, as you continue to practice imagining and feeling your desires as already fulfilled, you may begin to notice subtle changes in your external world. Opportunities will arise. People will be drawn to you, and circumstances will shift in ways that support your new state of being. These changes may seem small at first, but they are the seeds of greater transformation. The more you persist in your emotional state, the more these seeds will grow, and eventually your external reality will fully align with the vision you have created. Next thing you know, the power of feeling is not limited to any one area of life. Whether you desire success in your career, a loving relationship, or perfect health, the process remains the same. You must create a mental scene that reflects your desire, and you must feel the emotions associated with it as if it is already your present reality. This emotional engagement is the driving force behind the creative process, and it is through the cultivation of these feelings that your desires are brought into form. In conclusion, the true power of imagination lies in its ability to evoke emotion. It is the emotional charge that gives life to your thoughts and transforms them into reality. To change your world, you must first change your emotional state by imagining your desires as already fulfilled and feeling the emotions that come with that fulfillment. Through persistence in this practice, you will align your internal world with the external, and the law of attraction will bring forth the circumstances that reflect your new state of being. When you master the art of feeling your desires as already fulfilled, you become a conscious creator, shaping your life through the power of your imagination. In closing, the path to manifesting your desires lies within the profound understanding that creation begins within the mind and heart. By aligning your thoughts and feelings with the reality you wish to experience, you awaken the infinite creative power within you. The external world is a mirror, reflecting the state of consciousness you maintain. Through imagination, persistence, and a deep emotional connection to your desires, you reshape your inner world, thereby transforming your outer circumstances. And there, my favorite saying begins: the true secret of your success is to create a life in which you truly belong. This process is not about striving or struggling. It is about embodying the feeling of your wish fulfilled, trusting in the unseen forces of creation, and allowing them to unfold naturally. As you persist in living from the end, believing in the reality of your desires, you will begin to notice subtle shifts in your life, and these shifts will eventually culminate in the full manifestation of your dreams. Remember, imagination is the gateway to all possibility. The power to change your world lies not in what you see with your eyes, but in what you believe and feel in your heart. The more vividly you imagine, the more real your desires will become, and the more natural it will feel to live in the reality of your dreams. Trust in this process, be consistent in your practice, and know that the universe must respond to your inner state. Your dreams are not distant, but already within your reach, awaiting your recognition and acceptance.